Hey everybody, Dan Hepworth, co-founder and CEO of the Massapequa Tutor here, and I want to tell you that I'm graduating college at the age of 20. For some background, I'm attending Duke University in Durham, and I'll be graduating with a major in computer science and a minor in finance. So I want to start by telling you how I was able to make this happen. There was really five key strategies I utilized. The first of which was AP classes. They give you college credits. At Duke, you need 34 college classes or credits to graduate, two of which can be APs, and a couple more if you're graduating earlier. So it allows you to take less classes. The second is overloading. Most students take four classes a semester. I took a few more. I gradually eased into it though. So, for example, my freshman fall, I took 4.5 credits. My sophomore year, I took five classes. And then this semester, my senior spring, I'm taking six classes. The third is summer classes. The more summer classes you can take, the less you need to overload. So it allows you to lighten your schedule during the fall and spring semesters. I was fortunate enough to take a summer class this past summer, and this summer I'll be taking one just to wrap up those 34 classes. The fourth strategy I implemented was not biting off more than I can chew. So, as I mentioned, I'm majoring in computer science and minoring in finance, just one major, one minor. I feel like a lot of people overdo it. So, some questions you want to think about is: are there diminishing returns to say a double or a triple major? Do employees really care? Probably not, unless it's something you're super interested in or it's super relevant to the job. And that's something you also want to think about. Are you super interested in this topic? Because you'll have to take more classes, and if you're trying to graduate early, a double major will make it more difficult. But at the same time, one thing I would advise is not graduating early at the expense of being able to explore your interests. The fifth thing is taking courses that accomplish multiple things, basically killing two birds or three birds with one stone. So an example of that I did was this class Math 212 or multivariable calculus. It accomplished three things for me. First, it was required for the finance minor. Second, it was an elective for the CS major. And third, it was a quantitative studies course required for graduation. Um, so now I want to jump into probably the more interesting part of this video is why I decided to graduate early. There's three key reasons. The first of which was money. College is expensive, especially a school like Duke. I was very fortunate to have some financial aid, but I'm still taking on a lot of debt through student loans, so I wanted to mitigate that. The second, and probably the most obvious, is COVID. The college experience has significantly changed, arguably for the worse. I kind of was asking myself, is it worth sitting in a room on a majority online classes for another year? And the answer to me was no. Although I really hope that with vaccinations coming in mass, that the college experience will become improved in the near future. The third thing is that the real world's more exciting for me. Um, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I learn by doing. I love building things. So for me, classroom learning just really didn't satiate that desire. So I wanted to just jump ahead and do some stuff in the real world. Now, let's talk about you. There's probably a lot of things going through your mind when hearing my story. So I want to share six things that you should think about. As graduating early, regardless of how you do it, it's going to take more effort. So you want to see, is it worth the effort for you? The first thing is how early? One semester, 1 year, sometimes more, although that's uncommon. Basically, the earlier you're trying to graduate, the more effort it'll take. The second thing is, what are you going to be doing after? Um, are you doing this? Do you have a job lined up? In which case, you'll be making money instead of paying money. Are you looking at graduate or professional schools? In which case, it'll shave off a lot of time to get you to actually doing your work as either a doctor or MBA, whatever it might be. Or do you want to maybe just take some time to yourself? People take gap years before school, but if you graduate early, I feel like a totally valid thing to do is taking like a gap year on the opposite end, taking time to just grow as a person, travel, read, learn. The third thing you want to think about is, can you graduate early in a manageable way? You don't want to do it at the expense of your physical, mental, and social health. So really think about, can you do this in a reasonable way such that you can still enjoy your time while at college and live a healthy lifestyle? The fourth thing is, will you be able to explore your interests in less time? As pricey as college might be, it is one of the few times that you'll be able to sit in a room with someone who has studied something that they're talking about for their entire life. So you should really make the most of it and explore your interests, both the things you're studying and the things you're not studying. So while my course load has obviously been very quantitative, I've also took some really cool classes outside of which. For example, this semester I'm taking a class on the Beatles, and our professor literally wrote a book on the Beatles. Likewise, last year I took a class on acting, and the teacher has directed and I believe written multiple theater plays. So you can really learn really cool things from really cool people. The fifth thing to think about is, will you be able to develop your network in this limited time? You don't want to spend all your day in the classroom and all day at your desk. Your network is really a core part of the value proposition of college. You'll be meeting professors who are experts in the field of your that you're interested in, and they can be lifelong mentors. You'll be able to meet alumni who are where you want to be, hopefully, in a couple of years. And arguably, most importantly, you'll be making lifelong friends and potentially lovers too. So you don't want to pass up on all of that. The last thing you want to think about is, will there be GPA trade offs? And are they worthwhile given your goals? Given you're working more, taking more classes, and whatnot, you might need to make some sacrifices, and instead of getting the 4.0, get the 3.8. And say if you're going to go to med school, for example, where GPA is super important, that might not be the wisest decision. However, say if you're in my case working on a startup, it's a little bit less important. So the way I think about this is, going from 3.8, for example, to 4.0 requires almost as much effort as going from 0 to 3.8, but the payoff is arguably a lot less, as I could be doing a lot of other really valuable things in that time, like working on my company, meeting interesting people, and just socializing and exercising. But if you're in high school, a lot of these same principles apply. You'll have the option to take a lot of AP classes and a lot of honor classes and accelerated classes, but you don't want to overdo it, because there's a lot of other super cool things that you can be doing as a high schooler, from extracurriculars, sports, a job, starting something like a company or a nonprofit, or volunteering. I initially wanted to do a bunch of APs, but I narrowed it down to just three. And the reason I chose those three, which for me was bio, Euro history, and AP Calculus AB, was that I found them the most interesting and I thought I could do the best on them. And with that in mind, I just wanted to conclude this video by letting you know that we'll be having AP exam review sessions in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for those, and if you want to learn more, you can click on the link below in this video. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much, and have a great day.